Welcome to another episode of Casual Cinephilia, where enthusiastic amateurs talk very passionately about movies. I'm Ian.
I'm Lorian, and today we are talking about Suicide Squad.
The
2021 one.
classic.
The 2021 one. Absolutely not the 20... Was it 16 or 17?
2016,
Dang.
yeah. I don't care what anyone says. The 2016 one was hot garbage.
It's true.
I know, it's a really hot take.
Yeah, no one agrees with you on that.
Oh, man. So we are talking about the 2021... It's not a remake. It's not a
It's kind of a reboot.
boot.
Kind of, but it does take the same... It's a sequel,
Here's the
but
thing,
also
though.
a reboot.
If you track Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn,
No, I know.
her character development
continues.
it's a continuous story.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm thrown up. Like, I agree with you. It is essentially a soft reboot.
It's a sequel and a reboot.
Yeah,
At
a
the same
sequel
time.
boot.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't know. That's why I struggle with it so much, is because it genuinely is actually a sequel that also reboots the franchise.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
going to be spoilers for this one. It's going to be spoilers for the old one. It's going to be spoilers for probably Birds of Prey and some other DC stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Which I'm just going to start this whole conversation in saying, starting with Birds of Prey and Joker. Though Joker, I will say to the...
Well, already.
We're 3 minutes in.
Come here.
Though Joker made me feel like I needed a shower afterwards, I still think it's a masterpiece. It's beautiful. Yeah. And with Birds of Prey, I think that's the tone that all of DC should have had from the beginning. And I feel like James Gunn captured that tone perfectly in this movie. And so the direction that DC movies have been heading, in that darker but more quirky sense, and then with the ultra dark with the Joker, and it looks like the Robert Pattinson Batman is kind of going in that direction, where it's more of a psychological thriller aspect of it. I am so excited for the future of DC.
It could actually start being good.
Yeah, like, I don't know, the last few movies that they put out, sans Wonder Woman 1984, have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think Wonder Woman was kind of a leftover of the prior.
Yeah. It was not an independent film. The others have been fairly independent, like not dependent on stuff before. With the vague exception of this one, but kind of not really.
But even that, though, So I read an article. They interviewed James Gunn, and the interviewer was talking about how they hit the Harley Quinn tone perfectly in the movie, which I agree with. I think this is one of the best representations of Harley Quinn on film so far. Yeah. And they're asking him, so, like, it meshes perfectly with the Harley Quinn of Birds of Prey and the evolution of the first Suicide Squad. Like, how did you do it? And he goes, I'm going to admit, I never watched Birds of Prey. And they were like, what? He goes, but I did read a whole bunch of comic books that had her in it. And it's like, see, that's how you do it. If you know the source material, you can write the character.
And I mean...
And plus, he's
Margot Robbie is also there making choices.
Yes.
And she did see Birds of Prey.
Yes.
So...
Well, we don't know that just because you're in a movie.
Sure.
No, Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn. She's like Robert Downey Jr. for Tony Stark. For me.
Yeah.
Like, I could not see another actress or actor playing that character.
Right.
To the level that she does.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just really good. So...
Maya has the noisy toy today.
She does. And there it goes.
Good job, dog. You're a star.
It's loud, it's heavy, and it squeaks.
Yeah.
So I apologize. I really hope the mics can't pick that up. But they probably
pretty
can
shrill.
easily, yeah. So anyways, let's talk about the movie. This movie pretty much opens with half of the cast being killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like really big names.
And it's
being
people
killed.
that I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the marketing for this movie because I've been burned before. But they got people to play that whole secondary initial cast that were all down to Cloud. Like, they were all game to be sort of mischievous.
Yeah.
So you had, like, Pete Davidson and Nathan Fillion were just running their mouths for, like, a year and a half about how much fun they had on the set of this movie.
Yeah.
And they were in it for all of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So...
By the way, that was one of the funniest misdirects I've seen in a long time, where they're like, deploy TDK.
Yeah.
And his arms just move at the pace of a person casually walking, and he just kind of slaps him and just kind of is an annoyance. Oh my gosh, I was laughing so hard at that scene.
This movie, and we've discussed this before, this movie fulfills the promise of the marketing campaign for the 2016 one.
Yes.
Because that one had a really good marketing campaign. Everyone was psyched to see that movie.
Yeah.
But then it was just a 2-hour version of the marketing campaign, which isn't what you want.
Mm-mm.
This one was the answer to what those ads promised.
Exactly. Well, and what was interesting about the marketing campaign about this one is that they realized how detrimental it was to the first one. And there was only 2 trailers.
Yeah.
And they were both very much focusing on the characters that die in the first 10 minutes.
Yep.
Like, the main cast really isn't.
Well, they knew what they had to do.
Trailers.
They knew they had to subvert expectations and catch people off guard, or they would be stuck in their critical minds.
Yeah.
If there wasn't a big surprise at the beginning to jar people out of what they were thinking, the opinions they'd been forming about Nathan Fillion being in this and Pete Davidson being a little punk ass, that they wouldn't have been able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Which is great. Good job, James Gunn.
Totally. No, This cements James Gunn as being, in my opinion, the ultimate comic book director and writer-director. Like, with his, like, original superhero with Super, which is a darker, you know, take on people trying to be superhero vigilantes. But, you know, with the Guardians of the Galaxy and now this, it's just like, he knows how to do, 1, comic book movies, but 2, ensemble cast.
Yeah.
I don't know how he gets you to care for so many characters.
Yeah.
Like, you care for these, even the assholes.
Right,
like, John Cena's character, Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we already said this. We already said spoilers. So, with his betrayal.
Yeah.
Like, that whole scene with his fight with Rick Flag literally broke my heart watching it. It's just like, no, but so good.
I never felt as sympathetic toward him as the rest of the cast.
Yeah.
At any point. No, I've met him. I don't like him.
Well, I think
John Cena's great. The character, though, I've met him and I don't like him.
Yeah. Though he's going to have a redemption arc, possibly.
Possibly.
He's got an HBO series, which could be interesting.
Yeah,
so
could be.
We'll see how that goes. But, man. Yeah, so the movie starts off with half of the cast dying. More than half of the cast. Like, a good 2/3.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Good 2/3 of the cast dead. Including OG from the first movie, Boomerang, Captain Boomerang. You're just like, and you're expecting Rick Flag and Harley Quinn to die in this thing. It's just insane. Even though, I hate to say it, Harley Quinn's kind of got like a plot armor.
Yeah, a little bit
on her.
But that's fine.
But that's okay. But literally everyone else in that movie at any point could have died. Like, I'm going to have to say, though, the only character that if they would have died, I would have been truly upset was Sebastian, the rat.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it falls under the dog rule.
It does. And that no one would wave at him and no one gave him handshakes. Just, and Ratcatcher 2 was just so sympathetic. It's like, oh, it's okay, Sebastian. This movie was great.
Yeah, I did really enjoy. Surprise, Maya! Gesturing with your hands is really dangerous in this room.
It is.
I did really enjoy this movie. I was cautious going into it because, like I said, I saw the first one.
Yeah.
But it was great. So great it made me go back and watch Birds of Prey because I'd heard good things about that, but was not really willing to. I wouldn't have watched this if we didn't do an episode on it.
Really?
It looked fine in ads, but it's just like, oh, the first one was so bad, and this one might probably be better, but do I care?
Right, yeah. No, this one is not only better, but I think is a redeemer of the DC film series, the film saga. And I think with like Birds and Prey and all that, they were that first step, but I think this is that first big step into the new genre of movie they're making.
Sure.
So with the opening of the movie, I was worried.
Okay.
Though it was shot very interestingly with opening on Savant, Michael Rooker's character, it had a licensed song.
Sure.
And my brain instantly went to, oh no, they're doing it again. No, not another music video.
Triggering.
But I should have known.
Yeah.
Because one, that's the Suicide Squad style that was set by the first movie.
Sure.
But James Gunn is just so much better with music.
Yeah.
And he knows what songs to use, when to use them, and how to use them.
Yeah.
And every song, every non-theatrical song in this, so not score-wise, but, licensed song, was used so perfectly in this movie that it wasn't like on the nose like the first one where it's like Amanda Waller is introduced and it's pleased to meet you, won't you, like, what's that name of that song?
Don't remember
it's like
anything.
Ballad to the Devil or something like that. It's but it's essentially, calling Amanda Waller evil. You're just like,
sure.
That's so fucking on the nose. Like, that's so no subtlety whatsoever. But like every song used in 2021's Suicide Squad, and I think it's the Suicide Squad is 2016, and this one is
the Suicide Squad. The other one's Suicide Squad, I believe.
I think you're right. Let me check. Maybe that's why it came up first, is because I didn't type the.
You typed the wrong title.
So
that would explain it.
The.
There you go. You solved it.
It was my error. Well, that makes me feel better.
Good.
But yeah, I mean, Suicide Squad, the first one.
Wait, what does that say the rating is on IMDb for that first one?
5.9 out of 10.
Oh, okay. I thought it was out of 5 something. And I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Honestly, I think that's higher than what
than
it was.
Merits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
They're a Rotten Tomato. Oh, yeah. There we go.
That makes more sense. 26% tomato meter.
Yeah.
Although a 59 audience score.
Well,
that's generous.
That's what IMDb is based off of the audience.
It's generous.
Yeah, but to be fair, you can't really ever judge by the audience
they're
score.
Always psychopaths.
Well, and there's people that, whether it's a bad movie or not, they're always going to
Maya.
Hey.
What is under the couch? What do you
Nothing's
need?
under the couch. She just
What do you
wants attention.
need?
Um,
What do you need?
but like, there's always people out there that are such DC fans that even if it's a terrible movie, they're going to give it a good score.
Sure.
Same with Marvel, if
Mm-hmm.
or there's such white knight warriors out there. They'll like.
She's inside the couch trying to eat it.
Yep. They'll review bomb. What was it? Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Even though it was actually a decent movie, it got a review bomb because of something. Was it? Not. I always want to say Brie Larson. That is wrong. Is it Brie Larson? Shit. I was. God, I'm so bad with names.
You have me doubting myself.
Right?
You have me feeling insane. You're gaslighting me.
No, it's Brie Larson.
Yeah,
and
it's
I always
Brie
get
Larson.
I get her mixed up with Alison
Oh
Brie.
my goodness.
That's my issue. And so
Stop being so nosy.
I'm gaslighting
Maya.
myself. That's my issue.
Stop taking me along for your existential crazy.
But yeah. But because she said something outside of the film, a bunch of, neckbeards review bombed the shit out of it.
I mean, not to be this way, but also the neckbeards have been review bombing every female-led comic movie that has come out.
My point exactly, though, is that you can't trust...
Whether she says something or not.
Yeah, you can't trust
I will
audience
pay attention over
scores
here.
at all.
Yeah.
Because they're so influenced by negative minority outliers, What is the dog doing?
She's switching back and forth between like trying to put her face in my lap for attention and crawling inside of the couch to eat the couch.
Just lay down. Be a lazy sleepy dog.
It's time for a loud toy again.
Be a large sleepy dog. But yeah. What was I talking about? You're so distracting, Maya.
We were talking about what's this new one's Rotten Tomatoes? The one.
91. It is
Dang.
certified fresh.
See, now that's a change.
It's because it's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
It's not just a good superhero movie.
Yeah.
It is a good, well-crafted film.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Is it a film I would recommend to my mom? I don't think it is. I don't think my mom would enjoy the humor in this one. This one is still Suicide Squad.
Very much so.
So the humor it's crass, it's dark, it's gory, but that is what it's supposed to be. It's well done in all of those fronts.
And I don't. Did we ever? The first Suicide Squad was before.
Way before
our podcast.
Yeah.
So I don't have it on record anywhere, but pretty sure I said the biggest hindrance to the first one was that they tried to cram it into a PG-13.
Fairly
rating.
fucking sure I have it on record.
Do you?
On my Facebook. I got a memory from the first one where I was like, it was a fun film, I guess. And I guess they don't have to be more than that. And you said something in the comments that I'm pretty certain was that.
Yeah. Like, that was the biggest hindrance they could have put on
If I
themselves
can find
to
it, I will
this.
screenshot it and put it on the Patreon.
Do
Not
it.
that you care about us proving our younger selves' opinions on a bad movie.
That was 5 years ago.
I do know.
2016. We're old.
Yeah.
It's 2021. Ugh. But yeah, like PG-13. I don't know why they keep trying to make these films. I know why they do it. It's because PG-13 is where the money is. But like Carnage, Venom.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Sony making a very R-rated, M-rated comic book into a PG-13 film? It doesn't make sense from a filmmaking standpoint. From a financial standpoint, I completely get it. But then just don't make this movie.
It's the evils of the studio system.
Yeah, if you're too much of a coward to not make the proper adaptation of the film, And I give full credit to WB for acknowledging the mistake and allowing James Gunn to go full rated R with this. I know it was kind of a sinking ship mentality at the point when they were doing it, of like,
well, this has already failed once. Might as well do whatever you want with it.
But still, at least they had the cojones to be like, you know what? Yeah, this needs to be rated R. Do what you need to do to make your vision work, you know? And it's just, I get so flustered when...
You're trying to bite my butt.
Yeah, she is.
It's very rude.
I get so flustered.
Literally had her tooth hooked through the chair.
Oh my god, dog.
Maya, you're being a nuisance. Why are you such a nut job today? You weren't paying enough attention to me.
Puppy dog. Now she's playing dead.
Yeah.
Just flopped her head to the ground. But yeah, that's why I get so flustered with these PG-13 movies for rated R materials. Which makes me love this movie even more, even though I don't like gore.
Sure. It did what it did what the comic panels would have done.
Exactly. This movie is just plain fun. And it's kind of a credit to not only the writing and directing, but also the acting in it. Idris Elba and, Margot Robbie, John Cena. Oh, what was her name? Played Ratcatcher 2.
I have no idea.
Daniela Melchior? Apparently this was one of her first feature-length English movies. She's a Spanish actor.
Interesting.
She was the heart and soul of this movie.
Especially when Taika Waititi showed up as her father. It's like, I already liked you, and now I like you more.
That first flashback where it's in the bus, it didn't click to me that was Taika. Nope. It wasn't until at the end where they're sitting at the top and he says the thing about rats having purpose.
You're like,
that's Taika. Oh my god. Oh man. Yeah, I remember a lot of people seeing Taika Waititi on the cast list and just speculating the shit out of who he was going to play. And, people thought he was going to play Starro or some other side character, other villain that was going to come in and help or something.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they put him as Ratcatcher.
Yeah.
That is such a great character beat, especially for Ratcatcher 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they call her Ratcatcher 2 is something straight out of the comic book pages. And I love that. They didn't try and make her, give her a unique name that, she goes by as oh, you're the daughter of Ratcatcher, yada, yada, yada. No, you could call me this. No, it's just it's Ratcatcher 2.
The sequel.
The sequel. Which is what she's called in the comic books, which is great. Oh, no, you're being a good girl. But yeah, the cast was just perfect for this movie.
Did you see, what's his name? The Polka Dot Man. This is a very well-known actor, and I can never remember his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, the costumers made a Polka Dot Man costume for his cat for him.
That's amazing.
It's the stupidest Instagram or whatever it is.
There we go. David Desmalchian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can never remember his name either. He was great in this movie. And the scenes with his mother were so awkward and creepy. I feel like I'm overbearing in the conversation, but I just want to get one more thing out. My favorite scene in the entire movie is after they go through the encampment of the freedom fighters and kill everyone, and they bust in to free Rick Flag, and they go, she's like, why didn't any of my people warn me you were coming? Where are they? Did you guys see them? And it's oh no, we didn't see it. And Polka Dot Man goes, Yeah, it makes them easy. Like, I imagined
Turned
them as
into
my
my
mother, and
and
it made
I
it easier to
killed
kill
them all.
them. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
so
classic.
good. I loved how powerful they made Polka Dot Man. Like, he was genuinely powerful. But it's Polka Dot Man. What does he do? Throw polka dots?
I mean...
Oh. What you looking up?
I'm trying to find the cat picture.
Oh.
It's somewhere, damn it.
So, there are 3 credits for Sebastian.
Yeah.
There's D. Bradley Baker as the voice of Sebastian.
Okay,
which
great.
D. Bradley Baker is awesome. And if you've ever watched Star Wars Clone Wars and The Bad Batch, he is the voice of all the clones and the entire Bad Batch.
Nice.
D. Bradley Baker is amazing. They also have Jaws as Crisp Rat or as Sebastian Rat, and then Crisp Rat as Sebastian Rat, which makes me think that they had mo-capped rats.
They had little rats, little ratty rats.
In little mocap suits.
Excellent.
I need to find pictures of those rats in mocap suits. But the fact that one of them named their rat Crisp Rat. Crisp Rat.
Yep.
Oh, it's so good.
There it is.
That's so amazing.
And there's a Photoshop of it in the actual film.
That's great. Costume designers are awesome. Give or take some of them.
This is so aggressive suddenly. The look I'm getting right now.
Oh, man. Speaking of characters, I think my favorite character was King Shark.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I fell in love with him.
You really like the characters a few words, traditionally.
I do. But I don't know how they gave life to his eyes. To black, beady shark eyes.
Yeah.
But the scene where they're like incognito going through the town and like the nightclub scene and stuff like that, and he's in the back seeing everything, he just has this sense of like childish wonder and whimsy of a world he's never been able to be a part of.
Sure.
And you're just like, oh, that's so cute and so sad
right.
at the same time. And it's just like, oh.
Yeah.
And then of course the nom nom aspect of it. But
he was like a violently R-rated Ludo. That's why you loved him.
Yes. Very much a violently R-rated Ludo. Like to the so R-rated. He ripped a man in half vertically. And like you see the innards plop out.
Yeah.
Oh. Like I don't like gore. But that was really gory.
So, yeah, this whole movie is very gory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It handles it.
It's done in like a very Tim Burton-y way where the gore is like clearly a storytelling element and not made to be hyper realistic. The physics of how things are ripped apart aren't realistic physics. You know, like it's done in a story way. That's helpful.
Yes. Though it's very realistic in its color and shading.
Yes.
The manner at which it happens is very cartoony and outlandish. Yeah. Which helps.
Yes.
It's kind of that Kill Bill effect. You know, that
I've never seen Kill Bill.
Well.
But I believe you.
Katana slice, real looking blood, but it comes out like a spray fountain like anime where it's like you know, kind of thing. Well, that's kind of how this is. Heads get lopped off and blood just shoots out.
Everybody has a lot of blood pressure problems.
Ton of like hypertension. Oh, there
oh,
goes
no.
my
And the puppy's back. Look what you've done.
Oh, I'm sorry, puppy. I didn't mean to scare you. Oh, puppy dog. Thanks for saving me. But yeah, it is gory.
Gory.
People get torn apart, limbs chopped off, blown up, dissected. There's a couple people with starro faces that are chopped in half but still alive. It was gross.
Yep.
And strangely enough, for how gross and tacky and nasty it was tastefully done.
Yeah.
Like
I get what you mean.
It feels weird having those words come out after everything else I just said. But like, there was the thing I hate most about gore is when filmmakers do gore for the sake of gore.
Sure.
Hellboy was a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
The 2018 Hellboy.
The David Harbour one.
Yeah. There was just gore because they wanted it to be gory.
Yeah.
This was gory because it accentuated the inhumanity of what was going on.
Right.
And every moment of extreme gore and disgustingness had a purpose.
Sure.
And at least a purpose to the story. And I appreciated that.
Me too.
I still hate how gory, like, hate's the wrong word. I still disliked how gory it was.
Sure.
But it fit the premise well enough that I was like, you know what? That works.
Right.
It's like totally opposites on the spectrum of seriousness, but like Saving Private Ryan is a very gory movie.
Yeah.
Especially the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But it is specifically set there to show you the horrors of war and get you into the mindset of these soldiers.
Right.
And I think they do that in this, now in a much more, quirky, less
might be
serious.
the first time anyone's compared the Suicide Squad to Saving Private Ryan. And if you just take them at title value, it's kind of an offensive comparison.
Context. There needs to be context. What's that meme? It says scientists say that their scientific studies are meaningless if taken out of context. And it's news article says scientist says scientific studies are meaningless.
Yeah. Yep.
This movie, I saw it on HBO Max.
Me too.
I need to watch it in theaters.
I don't know that that'll be an option for you, buddy.
I don't think it will. But I want to, one, to help with the box office of this thing, but two, because is it
still in theaters?
I don't know. I'd have to double check.
I feel like it is.
It might be.
It's got a Showtimes listing that you just scrolled right past.
Yep.
Okay, so it
Still
is.
got some showings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be a good one to see in theaters.
Yeah, because though it is a very small scale story, it's a very intimate story with these characters. It has that superhero grandiosity to it as well, with the large, verbose enemy at the end.
Right.
Verbose. That is the wrong word.
It's a weird choice of word.
That is the wrong word, and I can't think of the right word.
Waiting for you to continue and explain yourself.
Yeah.
Hey. You don't need to scratch at me for attention. You little goober.
I can't think of the word I was thinking of.
Do you have synonyms?
No.
Okay.
Moving on.
Continue.
Word bank near empty. Move
empty brain. On. It's fine. I get that. I showed up here a half hour early because I just forgot schedule, I guess. I was like, leave house now. I knocked on the door and was like, wait a minute.
Oh, man. Yeah, words are hard.
Brain.
But like the final, boss of the movie is it needs a theatrical
Sure.
viewing, I think. But I think it's just as good at home on a small screen, too.
Yeah, I watched it on a laptop.
Nice.
Little small screen.
Real small screen. But yeah, I mean, if you have the ability to watch this, do it. It's so good. I know most people who listen to this have probably watched the things we've
Hopefully.
I
mean, if you don't, then glad to be your thorough spoilers, I guess.
Oh, man. One thing that I thought they did a really good job on is continuing the character arc or lack of character progression of Amanda Waller and having her really be the true antagonist of the film. She does such a good job with that character. I'm totally blanking on her name. Viola Davis. I mean, it makes sense. She's an Academy Award winner, right?
If she's not, then she's definitely been nominated a bunch. Yeah. But I believe she is.
One Oscar win, yeah. And over another 102 wins and 194 nominations. She's so good.
Yeah.
Like, she is such an amazing actor.
4 Oscar nominations. That's significant.
But yeah.
Yeah. I didn't watch anything about this before watching it, as I've stated. And when she came on the screen, I was like, she was the first. What's happened? Like, I had no idea. I was like, so this is the same people.
Yeah. Well, going back to our first conversation, it's like, that's why it's so difficult to classify this, because it's literally a linear sequel to Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey, but it is 100% a reboot.
Yeah.
But with the same people.
Yeah. And
same world.
Both.
And like continuing arcs and plot lines. But it's a reboot, Just gotten to the point where I squirt her in the butt every time she scratches at you. You are so needy.
She just wants attention.
If you weren't so cute.
Cook you in a pit in the backyard.
Yeah, you'd be pulled pork pup.
Good meat on those bones.
Pulled pork pup.
She's unoffended.
No, she's like, that sounds delicious.
Fine, great. Save me some.
Oh, I gotta go pop a dog. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know what else I want to talk about.
I want to talk about Harley Quinn. I really enjoyed all of her scenes. I rewatched this last night, but like halfway through I had a bunch of other stuff I needed to get done and I was running out of time, so I started like having other tabs open, and every time one of her scenes came on, it was like, I have to watch this part though. I like watching this part though. I just couldn't have enjoyed her scene with the president anymore.
Yeah.
It was just the perfect beat that you would not, I just didn't see it coming, but was so happy when it happened.
Yeah.
Just the gunshot and I promised myself I would do the right thing and murder him.
Killing kids is
because
kind
it's not
of a
only
red
like
flag.
funny, it's obviously funny because it's so extreme, but it's also like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
When you choose men as bad as I do, they don't. Basically, it's I make such bad choices, they don't go away. It's murder or nothing. Yeah. I get how extreme it is. She's so much fun now.
Yeah. The scene where she's breaking out.
And with all the flowers
full, like,
and
cartoon.
Gosh, see, that was what I was expecting from the trailers. What the trailers for the first one presented, that's what I was thinking we were going to get. And then we just didn't.
Yeah.
We just didn't get that at all.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see that sort of like heightened visual thing come in, but work here.
The subplot of her and the javelin was hilarious.
Yeah.
and
It
kind
had a
of beautiful.
really good payoff at the end, too.
Amazing payoff.
And also that scene was disgusting to watch. Where she javelins herself into a giant alien eyeball and is just floating in eye goo while rats consume the alien from the inside of its eye into its brain. Fade to blood. It was like one of the most disgusting, prettiest scenes.
And accentuated by such a hopeful song.
Yeah.
A hopeful and
just her like
song.
at peace face.
Yeah. There were so many just little things that were absolutely hilarious. Like when Starro first emerges and is like capturing all the soldiers, and like Ratcatcher 2 puts on her mask and she's like, "Don't let him get on your face," and then it just cuts to King Shark, just like, and they're just like slapping
at his face,
like, because they can't latch onto his face because it's so big. So it's just like it's just the wet slaps.
Yeah,
just like oh, it was just so good. There was so many little things set up in the first act of the movie that had such beautiful payoffs in the final act.
Yeah.
Like the whole argument between Bloodsport and Peacemaker about like, well, I'm a better shot. It's like, I'll shoot my bullet
smaller
straight
bullets,
through yours because I have a smaller bullet, and it's Bloodsport that's got the smaller bullet that shoots his through the hollow point of Peacemaker's that then goes and hits him. And it's just like, that is such a good payoff. And I think that right there is a testament to how good James Gunn is at filmmaking, you know?
Well, I mean, yeah, he's great. I also, back to Harley Quinn again, because this is one of the things that, she just really wants to go up to the front of my lap, but I'm sitting at a table where there's a bar. Yeah. So the only way for her to put her face in my lap is to just stick her nose directly in my crotch, and for obvious reasons, I'm not really down with that. So she's just getting very sad. She refuses to come to the side of my leg, in case you're wondering what the dog warfare is. Yes. But the problem with Harley Quinn in the first Suicide Squad, which is very widely noted, is that she's filmed 1000% through a male gaze lens. Yep. She's, the pan up from the shoes to the boobs while she puts her shirt on, and then she's confused about what's happening.
She's an object in the movie,
and then in Birds of Prey, they took the character and took that element away, and suddenly she made sense. The way she was written in Suicide Squad wasn't even different than the way she was written in Birds of Prey. It was the way that she was presented as that character. Yeah. Where she still had tiny costumes and everything, but the choices were presented as her own, which does make a difference. And I was impressed with how James Gunn carried that through to this film. Yeah. Like, he didn't revert back to the, like, okay, she's in a dress, let's cut it off at an inch. It's like, that could have been bad, and it was better. It was still a dress she was put in by dudes, but she put combat boots on and ripped it up the side and used part of it to kill somebody. It was like, not a problem. It's fine.
It's the same scene where she's breaking out, where I think she rips a part of her dress to tie up one part of her hair and then uses a zip tie to tie up the other part. It's just like,
I think she just had hair bands.
But it might have been. I don't know. Whatever.
Because she didn't rip her dress till she was killing the dudes in the hallway.
Okay. You're right. There was something, but I think she uses.
She might have used a zip tie.
You're just like, she's using a torture to, like, something that was just used to torture her. I need to put my hair up. Well, it's just so good. It goes back to Margot Robbie. Yeah. Like, she is Harley Quinn.
Yeah. She's good.
She's just so good at it.
gonna go way off the rails here.
Uh-oh.
I recently rewatched all of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Oh.
All of them. Even the last one that I hadn't actually seen. Because the fourth one was so bad that I was like, no. Which is a big deal if you knew me as a child. I literally wore pirate costumes to school.
Mm-hmm.
My friends and I went and saw all those movies in costume. Until the fifth one, where I was like, nah, the fourth one was so bad, I can't do it. The fifth one was better than the fourth one, but I digress. There is still confirmation of a Margot Robbie-led spin-off series for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, she could do it. I mean,
I'm much more interested in that than a sixth Captain Jack continuation.
Like, as much as I enjoy the character of Captain Jack Sparrow, he's run. Honestly,
I like the character. It's great. I wish Johnny Depp had played anything besides him for the last 20 years, but that's not the point of this.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, his arc ends at 3.
Yeah.
And then it just keeps
going. Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's less on him and more on the, Bruckheimer wanting to make buku bucks off.
But
of
if they
name.
could possibly take, good filmmakers and put them in charge of this Margot Robbie reboot series, that I am interested in seeing.
I would
love to see what she would do with that. I don't even know what that would be, but I'm intrigued.
I wonder if they...
I suspect she'd be the Redden.
Okay.
But there's not even... That's just out of my brain. It's not even anything.
I wonder if they would have her speak in an English accent or let her do her natural Australian accent.
I have no idea.
I don't think I've ever seen a movie with her speaking her native accent.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah. I always forget she's Aussie. Like, because she never, like, only in her interviews, and I don't watch too many of them. Oh, you're getting hungry, huh?
Hungry puppy dog.
Yeah. No, Harley Quinn is just such a good character now.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. I can't wait to see...
DC's best.
Yeah. Genuinely. And I honestly can't wait to see where DC takes it next. This is what I've been hoping for.
Yeah.
I've said it time and time again. Like, I'm not a Marvel fanboy. I'm not a DC fanboy. I'm a comic books fanboy. Sure. And if Marvel's doing well, but DC isn't, Marvel will stagnate.
Sure.
And we hit that point a couple times.
Sure.
But it gets revamped when they pull a new talent like Taika Waititi, or
I was just gonna say Thor: The Dark World.
Dark World.
And then you answered.
You mean Ragnarok?
What?
Dark World is 2.
I know.
Huh?
Where it stagnated.
Oh, yes.
And then you answered the stagnation I was specifically talking about with the solution.
We know what we're talking about, huh?
It's fine.
But yeah, and so Marvel has a tendency to stagnate when they've had too many good things.
Sure. I mean, as we all do.
As we all do. But if DC is doing well and they're making good, competitive movies, it will push Marvel and Disney to take chances, to take risks, to take a risk on a director that might not feel like the right thing, but has the passion and the know-how, kind of like Taika Waititi,
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, I can never remember his name. He's great. He directed Black Panther.
Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler. Like, that was such a risk.
Yeah.
And it paid off so well.
Yeah.
And so, now Ryan Coogler's writing and directing the next Black Panther.
Right.
And it's just like, it's such a good thing that came from such a big risk.
Yeah.
And if DC is doing so well, like they are with the last few movies,
right,
and have the potential to do with Robert Pattinson's Batman, which looks so good. Like,
I just don't trust getting excited about DC right now.
That's the thing. Yeah. No, I 100% understand. I'm still pretty excited.
I'm definitely going to see it, obviously. We're clearly going to talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I would have seen it anyway. I'm all for anything that he chooses to be in post-Twilight, because boy, did that change his mind on the kind of projects he wanted to be involved in.
Yeah. No, Robert Pattinson.
You know, he's in the Harry Potter movies.
Really?
Yeah. And you're going to find out so soon.
Have we mentioned that on the podcast yet? I don't think we have we? So, spoiler alert, we're coming up on our 100th episode.
Yep.
And we've decided to do a watch-along.
Yeah.
For the entire Harry Potter series.
Yay!
Now, one of us is more excited than the other. I'm not sure you will be able to tell. Now, we're not going to do all of them in one episode.
No, that would be insanity.
But starting on the 100th episode, we're going to be watching Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah,
right?
good
That's
job.
I don't know
a
any
now
after.
20-year-old movie.
Oh,
as of this year.
That hurts.
Yeah.
So, I think this is the only one I've ever watched.
Mm-hmm.
And it was when I was in 6th grade or 5th grade. I think it was 5th grade.
Sure.
And it was the worst
around when they were coming out.
It was the worst movie-going experience I've ever had.
That's a shame.
Because I was a 5th grader, and the theater oversold tickets.
Oh, no.
And so I had to sit on the steps.
Oh, no.
The entire movie.
Tragic.
It was at a friend's birthday party, so my parents weren't there.
Yeah.
The kids' parents weren't there. They just dropped us, like, they dropped 6 or 7 of us off at the theater to watch this movie. And there weren't enough seats.
Oh my God.
And so I literally sat on the steps. And so I remember nothing about that movie. Never
just
read the books.
Back pain and social uncomfortableness.
Yeah. But yeah. So I remember nothing. I never read the books. I haven't seen any of the other movies. I have heard they're great. But
we would also like to mention, well, bringing up Harry Potter hype, that J.K. Rowling is a TERF and a bad person. We support trans people and believe that they're valid, and that death of the artist. It's not her shit anymore. It's ours.
Is she a bad
She's
person?
a bad person.
I have not paid attention. Gosh.
Yeah. She's a straight up TERF. Trans exclusionary radical feminist.
Sweet.
So, if you are aware of that, we are still supporting Harry Potter because they're very important stories to my childhood, and they're culturally important stories.
Yeah, they're
and they also represent almost exactly the opposite viewpoint in accepting people's differences than J.K. Rowling is representing herself these days.
Yeah,
so,
Harry Potter was a very
as a disclaimer before we get too hype into Harry Potter, we are going to be going through the series. We do not support the author's insane and hateful views.
Sweet. Yeah,
Also, the actors in the movies have generally turned their back on her as a crazy at this point, so
awesome.
Yeah, it's really tragic. It's been a lot of soul searching for a lot of people the last year and a half.
God, 2020 and 2021 have just been it's killed a lot of heroes.
Yes.
Jeez.
But we are excited to watch the movies. I'm excited to... I read the books as they came out, so I've never seen the movies without having read the books. And there's a lot more to the books than to the movies. So I'm excited to see how the movies actually read to somebody who doesn't know more of the story.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I know some of the directors...
Sure.
are not my favorite, like Christopher Columbus.
Sure.
But then some of them are really good directors. So I'm curious to see. I'm so bad with names today. Brie Larson. Gosh.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the directors, I think he did.
Alfonso Cuarón.
Yes. He's an amazing director.
Yes.
So I'll be curious to see which ones that he does. There's
starting with the third.
Okay, so
you got two to get to with Chris Columbus, but it's Chris Columbus' wheelhouse.
That's true.
The first two are very like lighthearted, magical, whimsical child stories, and the third one starts to get darker.
I'm sure there's literally a color palette shift.
Yeah, there's literally a lot of shift. A lot of shift happens.
Can't wait. So that will be our 100th episode. However, this is
only 98.
The 98th. So do we want to talk about what's going to be our 99th episode?
Yes, we do, and it's another comic book movie.
We're killing it.
We're killing it. It's going to be the new Marvel one, Shang-Chi and the
Legend of the
Ten Rings. I was like, Rings of Destiny is very much not correct.
And the rings.
It was like a combination of Pick of Destiny and Rings, and I just couldn't drag it out of my brain right.
Tenacious D.
It's a very strange. It's a very strange movie. So yeah, we're gonna be watching Tenacious D and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
This isn't the greatest comic movie in the world. It's only a tribute.
Oh no.
Man. So yeah, look forward to that coming up next episode.
I'm excited. It looks great.
Very excited. It looks so different.
Yeah.
From movies in the past. And when I think of Marvel movies that have just looked different, they've been
it's been good so far.
Well, they've been tone shifters. So Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor, Ragnarok. Right. Like they've been tone shifters of the whole series for the better. And so I'm really curious to see if this will be a tone shifter or a tone setter for this phase of Marvel.
Yeah.
So, because this will be the first movie of this phase, because the last movie that came out was Spider-Man Far From Home, and that was technically the Black Widow. You're right. That's hard for me to see as that because
is it technically the last of the last phase, or are they counting it as the first of the next phase? Because it definitely doesn't belong in the next phase. Because it's
set in the last phase.
Right.
That one's hard to put. I think Shang-Chi is going to be the first of the new phase. Yeah. My headcanon is that Black Widow is set not even in the last phase, in the phase before. You know. So sure. I think phase 2 or phase. I don't even know what phase we're on. We're on phase Gamma.
Sure. Why not?
Dog, what are you doing? So look forward to that, and then look forward to our 100th episode watch along of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, actually. That's what it was called in England, but we're too stupid to understand, so they changed it to Sorcerer for America. So yeah, it's both. It's Sorcerer or Philosopher. Correct.
Oh, cool. Well, that's cool.
Yeah. Good job, Ian.
Sorcerer is, now that I think about it, Sorcerer is just a wizard. Why Philosopher's Stone is a legitimate thing. So is the story like trying to find like rebirth and
you will
like
find out
immortality? Because that's what the Philosopher's Stone is, right? Or is the Philosopher's Stone is what you use to make gold, or like turn stuff into gold.
So Ian's having fun theorizing about 25-year-old children's book based on his knowledge of mythology. You really haven't been paying attention to any of this. This is going to be great.
I will admit, I have a very small but strong hipster side.
Yeah, I know.
If I'm told to watch something, I won't, and I'm
Listen,
working on it.
I literally refused to read Harry Potter when it first came out. My mom was like, "This new book in the Scholastic magazine. Your friend's mom said it was really fun. We should buy it for you." And I was like, "No, I don't want something someone else likes." I didn't start reading them until my teacher started reading them to the class that year. And I was like, "Yeah, I gotta have those books, Mom. Buy me those books." So I get it.
So... It's a character fault, I admit. I'm working on it.
No, you're not.
Hence why we're watching it 25 years later. Sure. It's a slow process, Lorian. It's a slow and deliberate process.
Sure.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Eventually. Oh.
You only had to wait till it was out of the zeitgeist because the author is bad.
Yeah.
It's not out of the zeitgeist.
So...
It's a very strange Potter, situation.
I feel that Harry Potter is going to be up there with Lord of the Rings.
Classic.
Where it's
just not going to go away.
It's a literary
It's just really
classic.
sad that shitty, man.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's grown to so much more than her contributions to it.
Yeah.
As weird as that sounds.
Well,
anyway, you and I have been through all this. We're fans of Endergame. Lots of people are discovering the concept of Death of the Artist for the first time right now, though, and it's causing a lot of heartbreak. But you can get through it, or you can drop the series. Both are valid.
Yep. Oh, Orson Scott Card.
Shitty people.
What an amazing
Shitty
writer.
People.
Terrible person.
Another one where his books just totally send a totally different message than his own opinions.
Anyways, to our patrons out there, Jenny, Jake, Pam, and Graham. You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much.
And if you're wanting to support us, go check us out over at patreon.com/casualcinephilia. We post a lot of stuff up there for free. And there's some small stuff episodes up there for our paid patrons. So thank you so much. And with that, this has been another episode of Casual Cinephilia. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Music by Kevin MacLeod, Quirky Dog, and Vicious. Licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. You can find his music at incompetech.com.